What's up, everybody? Thank you for checking out the podcast. Just did a really fun one here with my boy Steve. We've been talking about it all year on the podcast, how we wanted the rivalry between New York and Philadelphia to come back. And here we go, Nets, Sixers battling it out in the playoffs right now. The first place Mets just taking it to the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies right behind in second there. Had to say that. It's fun. It's great. And I think you're going to enjoy this podcast today. So let's get into it. Here we go. Hope you like it.
Terrific.
Man, am I happy that the entire world gets to hear this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The rivalry is back, bro.
It's back, dude. It's in. I almost got you last night, on both instances.
I saw that text message from you. I didn't appreciate it.
Well, at least your Mets won.
Thank God, baby. My first place Mets. I got to correct you on that.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
First place Mets.
We'll get it back tonight.
So, yeah, the rivalry is back. Like, Nets Sixers, we're taping this on a Tuesday right after Game 2. Series is tied at 1, headed to Brooklyn. Just an incredible series so far. I got the bragging rights on you after Game 1. Just an upset city. We will get into this. Game 2, you guys come out and basically just punch the Nets in the mouth, and you did it twice to them, and it was just too much. The Nets kind of just folded. I know you're feeling good. You got a 51-point quarter. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But, dude, we got the job done. We stole one in Philly. We're headed home. Let's go.
You guys did your job. Anytime the road team can go in and take one from the favorites, that's all they're really hoping for. They're hoping for a split. So,
were you shocked that Game 1? Like,
no, I wasn't. I almost wanted to text you earlier and be like, "You guys are going to beat us," but then I was just like, you know what? I'm just being too pessimistic. Let's get amped up. Let's get on the side of the good guys. But it's just typical Sixers with you guys this year. It's just they don't come out hard. They don't hustle. Now, the team we saw yesterday, it's almost like what did I text you yesterday? It appears that they have awoken.
I gotta go throw up. Hold on.
I'm gonna go throw up. Hold on. But they played you guys hard.
Yeah.
They were physical. I texted you at halftime. I'm just happy that Embiid didn't get kicked out. Now, I don't think that was a flagrant 2. It definitely was a flagrant 1. Right? I said to you, I think if there was – because I think when he gathered his arms up with the ball and went to do the spin, he just kind of moved his whole upper body in unison. If he had jammed that elbow out first and then made the turn, I think he probably would have gotten ejected, and I think rightfully so.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think he should have been ejected or anything. I think, it's playoff basketball. Like these things happen. Jared Allen didn't take huge offense to it. I mean, he took a shot to the mouth. They got the call. Like, move on. I was fine with it.
Yep. And but I think that physicality at the end of the half, at the end of that first half, I just think woke them up, and they needed it because the Nets, dude, they do not take a possession off. They don't stop hustling. They fight for every 50-50 ball. They're a great team. They play together. You know that they're brothers in it together. Like, there's none of this Jimmy Butler drama that we had a little bit earlier in the year. There's not this, whose team is it, Ben's or Joel's? It's just you guys. You guys are a unit, and I think that to beat you guys, we have to just ramp up the intensity. And it's a similar thing with the Celtics. I mean, that I felt I wasn't able to watch Game 1 because I was working at the Boston Marathon. But I watched highlights, and I literally had a flashback like, this is what happened. This is what we did last year. Like, what are we doing? So I'm happy that we came out in Game 2 and, to your point, punched you guys in the mouth. I think Ben's defense on D'Angelo was pretty just suffocating at points.
Can I tell you that I think I've been saying this forever? Ben Simmons is the key to your guys' success.
Yeah,
he's the one who set the tone offensively, and he played great. You're 100% right on D'Lo. Made it very tough. But Simmons was getting out in transition early. He was getting to the block and posting him up. I mean, his size, it's
scary.
It's so scary. And when he's doing this and he's fully engaged, he's impossible to stop. And it just opens everything else up for that whole Sixers offense. Embiid's incredible. But Simmons, I mean, he's just the engine to that team. And you saw it. Game 1, he started out kind of shaky, and he's getting booed by the fans, and you could just tell he was a little more passive. He was trying to get everybody else involved. Game 2, he comes out right away, just driving to the hole, getting to the line immediately, and you could just tell, like, oh shit, like Ben Simmons is playing for real tonight. When he plays like that, that team is super hard to beat. They're so good offensively. So I'm on the Ben Simmons bandwagon, but he just needs to be more consistent. I don't know why it's not like that every game, because we saw that when the Sixers got hot last year when Embiid went down at the end of the regular season. Simmons was incredible. Saw it in the beginning of the playoffs, incredible. And then for whatever reason this season, we haven't seen that Ben Simmons all the time, but we definitely saw it in Game 2.
Definitely saw it in Game 2. I wonder if the size of the opposing point guard or whoever they put on him kind of messes with him a little bit. You look at the Celts, and they've got some big, strong, physical players that aren't point guards, right? I mean, but they could put a Jaylen Brown on him. They can put you name whoever. Marcus Smart is like a bulldog. I don't know if they would ever put what's his name? Why am I blanking on the freaking Duke guy on the Celts? Why am I blanking on this? That the Sixers didn't take, and instead we took my boy Markelle Fultz.
Jason Tatum.
Jeez Louise. They could put people that have size. Maybe not the strength that he has, but the size.
Yeah.
The one thing that he is amazing at when he gets on the block, he can finish with either hand. Now, while he gets beat up on the fact that he can't shoot, and like maybe he should start shooting right-handed instead of left-handed, when he's down on the block and he's close to the basket, he can go to either hand depending on where the defender is playing him. So he is pretty unstoppable. If there's just one guy down there shorter than him, he'll just get over top of him and just lay it in.
He's who I'm most scared of, honestly, on your team. Embiid's obviously super hard to stop.
Yes.
But if Ben Simmons is going like that, it's just scary because that opens everything up for guys like JJ and Tobias and those role players. I want to know, from your perspective, watching the Nets, who are you scared of on the Nets?
I probably would. I'd have to probably say your boy Karras.
Yeah. Good.
He's got a smooth shot, man, and he's very good off the ball. He's good with the ball, but he's also good off the ball, getting into open space, finding the cracks.
He's so good at getting to the basket too.
And he's an athlete.
I'm falling in love with Garnett. Like, I'm getting the jersey. It's happening.
Yeah, if we have Ben guarding D'Lo, like what we have JJ guarding Karras. I mean, I guess maybe like Tobias could guard Karras, and maybe JJ would guard Joe Harris. But like, there's just he's definitely a little bit of a matchup nightmare. D'Angelo is tough though, dude. Man, he's definitely unheralded. I know that he was an All-Star this year, but I feel like he still is never really talked about for what he can do.
So you respect the game. You like what you're seeing out of him.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. And I mean, he's the number 2 pick, right? I mean, he dealt with a little bit of drama in LA. I think it's the best thing for him that he got out of there and got a fresh start with a young team, with a young nucleus. If he's in LA right now, he's like, oh, get him out. Like, it's still LeBron. It's still LeBron. He's a part of the LeBron saga. Get him out. Where's his trade value? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think with you guys, it's a perfect fit.
I love Karras and D'Angelo together. I hope they keep it together. I think it's like the most underrated core in the league. They're going to be really special. I'm telling you.
I think where it hurts, like obviously I just said D'Angelo's like the number 2 pick. I feel like Karras just was unheralded out of college. So you look at some of these other 1-2 or 1 big threes. It's like all studs out of college. So they kind of slip under the radar without the notoriety. Mm-hmm. But as long as they stay healthy, man. Karras, I'm happy that he didn't get that devastating injury that we all initially thought it was going to be the Gordon Hayward or whatever it ended up being.
It's amazing he's playing. It's honestly incredible.
I always want to see you guys do well.
And that's why we like you, Steve. That's why we appreciate comments like that on the podcast. Thank you.
Yeah. But Thursday the 18th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I'm not going to feel that good about about wishing positive on Karras or D'Angelo.
I get it. I gotta ask you. Are you surprised that Boban is playing this well? Like, how is Boban getting this many quality minutes in the playoff game? What is happening?
What I think it is, when Joel goes out, I think these centers think like, all right, I get a break. But like, Boban is skilled, man, and he is a monster. He can dunk without jumping, right? So like, what can a and let's say a backup center comes in who's maybe not as big and physically talented as like your starting center, then it's like, go to work, Boban, eat some dinner, gobble these. But he does have a very good jump shot. It goes hot and cold. I mean, to think that he's going to go 8 for 12 every game and put up 16, that'd be just too greedy of me. But if he can get off the bench, give us 15 minutes solid, especially at this point in the playoffs, get us 8 points, 6 boards. Like, man, I can't wish for anything more.
Do you think his weird ears are just distracting to opposing defenses?
It's so bizarre, right? He's got flying saucers coming out of his head.
He's been incredible, though. I can't believe
he's giant, though, dude.
He is. He seems like an awesome dude, and the team's all rallying behind him. I just can't believe he's playing this well in a playoff game. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, he's. I won't say that. To your point from earlier, we go as Ben goes, but having a guy like that come off the bench who's just been taken in by the team and the city and loved by everybody, like, that's that intangible piece that I feel like every team needs to take it to the next level. Now it's like the expectation that to rely on him to like win games shouldn't be there, but just knowing that we can get a solid 15 minutes out of him a game is all I'm hoping for. That's all I need. That's all I want.
I got a couple takeaways about the Sixers that I want to talk about with you. See what you think. First off, and this is kind of something that we flagged here on the pod for a while now. I said, like, your offense is incredible, but your defense is just, it's not great. And specifically, your defense against the 3-point. Scary.
Even yesterday,
a lot of guys open.
There's one play where Karras is wide open in the corner and Mike Scott's like trying to run over, but like he just ran at him and like once he shot, then he like jumped to put his hand in his face. It's like why this laziness?
It's weird.
It's weird, especially with how strong teams are now at shooting the three. Like, you just have to be in their kitchen, man. Like, not everyone's Steph Curry that they're going to be able to shake you. And they have the handle like him. But if you pressure these guys, like, turnovers will happen because it happens to us. I mean, let's be real. We like to turn the basketball over. I don't know. I've said this to you before. I was saying it to people after game one. I just wonder because, let's say, as Simmons and Embiid, and with the fact that we rebuilt the process with like all studs that are just have always been the best. For the most part, always get it done. If they just think like, oh, all right, we'll get it done. Whereas like now you're in the NBA, man. Like, while yes, you, Joel, are you're a player that everybody wants to build their franchise around. That doesn't mean that freaking Karras and D'Angelo and Joe Harris can't light you up if you're lazy.
I don't want to call. Just you saying that made me think of Ben Simmons in college. Like, I don't want to call Ben Simmons lazy. I don't think he's lazy, but. No. I mean, I would have thought like he was just falling back on his talent, and it was like, I'll be better than all these guys. And like his team was awful in college.
Terrible.
Weird. I mean, you have Ben Simmons, like he should have dominated.
Yep. I don't know. Did they even make the tournament? I forget.
No, I don't think they did.
Or they lose game one, or I don't even think they did. I think they made the NIT and they still lost in game one of the NIT.
Just weird.
Or something like that. Yeah. So that's where I said earlier in the year, like, getting Jimmy, I thought was maybe going to spark that and help it. And it has. Jimmy goes nuts. Like, in big games in the fourth quarter, Jimmy just, like, shows up and locks it down. But I'd like to see just a little bit more of a consistent effort across the board. I was saying to people, I ran into a couple Philly sports fans at the Boston Marathon, whether they're wearing an Eagles hat or a Sixers shirt. I just said, man, that was brutal. And they're like, I'm almost on the edge there. And I'm like, listen, this is a team, though.
Oh, I wish you recorded that.
I know, you would have. just been so happy.
Oh, that would have been good to hear.
I'm like, I'm not, but, obviously we got beat up bad. And, we lost by 9, but you guys dominated that entire game. This is a team if they wake up and they turn it, like we could potentially just win 4 straight and be out of this in 5 games. Now, I'm not resting on that. Like, I know it's obviously a possibility, but I think I've seen too much of the Nets even last year. They weren't the team they are now, and they still always played the Sixers tough. So,
that's the strength of the Nets.
We just got to keep playing, man.
The Nets
keep grinding.
The Nets don't go away. They'll always fight. And you mentioned their team chemistry, how much they all just root for each other and love each other, and it's gonna just carry over. And they're never gonna be out of a game. They're never gonna give up. I think Kenny Atkinson deserves a lot of credit there, coaching. One of my other takeaways is talking to a lot of Philadelphia people. I've been trying to study the pulse a little bit on Twitter. Brett Brown's on the hot seat. That seat is on fire right now.
Yeah, that I think got set ablaze. Stephen A. said something yesterday about it. People have said it throughout the year, like if we've lost bad games or had any type of mini losing stretch. I don't know. I like Brett Brown personally. I don't think after everything he's gone through over the last 5 seasons, I don't think that he should instantly be out because, this team was so bad that they didn't even win double-digit games for him. In one of his first 2 or 3 seasons, and now they've got back-to-back 50-win seasons. They've been the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference each of the last 2 years, dealing with injuries. JoJo was out a lot of last year. Obviously, they didn't need him because they won 17 in a row or whatever it was, but this team, with the fact that they've gone through so much transformation over the last 3 years, let's say, I think to just can them after that would be a little unfair. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is a business, so I can see why people feel that way. I don't. I think we gotta ride him out because when we're on and when we're doing what I'm sure he wants the team to do, it's they're pretty hard to stop. 51 points in the 3rd quarter. Come on.
Well, 51 points in the 3rd quarter. You guys are dominating. That game's over. You're up 30 or 40. Mm-hmm. And he put Embiid back in the game in the 4th. It was what's going on here? Was that about conditioning? What is that?
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, I think it was. And I think it was also about the fact that, again, you guys, when you think you have it, that doesn't mean you can just go and freaking throw in the kick your feet up, Now, then Embiid got stepped on, which was great. Oh, wonderful.
So I want to know, Embiid, this is an injury. He's injured his knee, which is, if I'm you, I'm kind of having a heart attack about this because
I don't feel great about it.
He's the MVP of your team, and he's the future of this team. They're going to go as far as Embiid takes them. He is the man. Are you scared that he's playing on this injured knee and could F up the whole future?
No, because hearing what they were saying yesterday on the broadcast, they likened it to tendinitis, which, tendinitis for runners is something that you're just always dealing. I don't want to say always dealing with, but it just happens. It's inflammation in your tendons. It's our trainer in college always would say to us, or if someone asked, "Hey, I've got some Achilles tendinitis. Am I okay to run?" And he would be like, "How much pain can you tolerate?" So it's kind of like a gut, a check yourself type of thing. It's not easy to do it, but I don't worry about any type of long-term damage from it. I think this is just one of those things, man. You're in the playoffs now. You've got 15 games left to win an NBA championship. If you're going to do it, suck it up, baby.
Yeah.
And then you have an off season to just get your body right. But your ass better be conditioning better. They were saying that he's changed up his diet a little bit because he knows how important a good, healthy nutrition is for the body. So that was a good thing to hear. Yeah, of course. An injury, he's going to be game time decision every single game we play against you guys. But I think at the end of the day, he's going to play all the games.
He's playing all the games.
unless it's 3-1 and they're kind of like, you know what, I think we can close these, like something to that effect, right?
Oh man, if you do that,
3-1, maybe they're like,
if you get that cocky and do that, all right, we'll see what happens.
Boban, dude, he'll fucking step up.
Yeah, we'll see Boban for 40 minutes. See how that one works out for you guys.
No, but like I said, I think he's playing every game this series.
I think he is too. And you mentioned like you didn't want to see Karras hurt. Yeah. I don't want to see Embiid hurt. And like Philadelphia is a team that we've talked about and watched closely all year. And you kind of just want to see a healthy final product, see how far they can actually go. And Embiid is so important to this team if they really want to make a deep run. And seeing him injured like this and playing 20 minutes a night, it kind of sucks. Like I don't think. I mean, we'll see what you guys can do if you get past the Nets. I don't see you guys going that far if Embiid's
not healthy.
If he's playing 20 minutes a night and is a little bit tentative, he's not as aggressive as we normally see him. It's huge, and that defense again, not good against the 3-point. You go to Milwaukee or Toronto, that's not good. You got to get that shit fixed ASAP.
Mm-hmm. The thing too is, I mean, obviously at the end of the day, you win a series. There's also that aspect of like the Nets, they want to win, but it's sweeter if they win with a full healthy squad.
Sure.
From the Sixers. You know what I mean? Like I can remember the Sixers beat the Bulls, like they were at 7, the Bulls were at 2 when Derrick Rose blew out his knee, and everyone's cheering. I'm like, dude, they didn't have the MVP of the league. Come on, man. Like, how can you be like, yes, great, we won, but it doesn't taste as good as it would if they're full 100%.
Definitely. But I gotta
The one stat that I saw last night pop up: Jimmy, Joel, Ben, and Tobias only played 10 games together in the regular season of like more than X amount of minutes together on the court, and they were 8-2 when they did it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible amount of talent. It's like there's no denying it. They have 4 ridiculous players, and then you throw JJ in the mix, who obviously hits the 3 when he's open, and he's a huge space provider for them. I love JJ, but he's gonna have to kind of remember that we're in the playoffs here. I want to let you know about JJ that one of the Nets strategies is whoever JJ is guarding, full attack mode. Yeah, and I thought that was interesting because JJ used to be pretty good defender, Yeah. He was pretty solid, and I think, he's getting up there in the years a little bit. I couldn't believe how old he was. What is he? He's like 35, 36?
I was going to say he's older than both of us.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he's a geezer out there, and, he's already expending an incredible amount of energy on offense, running off screens and everything. They're going at him,
like
and
a madman.
Yeah, and they've had some success going at him, so I think the Nets are going to try to keep doing that. I think the key to beating the Sixers is to hit your threes, keep it going offensively. Like when the Sixers get stops, like they did to start that third quarter.
See ya. Ben's off to the races, dude.
See ya. It's game over. But when the Nets are scoring, Philly doesn't score every possession.
Take the ball out of the basket.
It slows them down. And that's if you can slow them down and they're not already that great defensively, like you got a shot. So I think the Nets just have to keep attacking, keep scoring. Do not let Philadelphia get out and running. And they have a shot, which is crazy. Like going into this series, watching the Nets play the Sixers a couple weeks ago. I mean, you guys killed us, and Embiid just dominated us. It wasn't even close. And I was like, this is going to be, it'll be fun, but I don't know how great of a chance we have. The fact that we came out in game 1 like that and played that well offensively, like every time you guys made a run, we just scored again. Every single time. And that was the key. And yesterday, you made a run in the first half and the Nets answered in the second quarter, but you can't just keep doing that. And they got blown out in the third. So, I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm going to game 4 with my dad.
Let's go.
I was hoping it was going to be the closeout game, but...
Yeah, imagine that, dude. Imagine if you guys were up 3-0 and you were going to game 4.
Oh, man. That would
have been a nightmare for me.
Yep, that would have been brutal. But I'm excited. I'm very excited to see who shows up to this Brooklyn game. Like, what is the crowd like?
Man. The game's Friday before Easter. Easter thing throws me off a bit because people could be out and about, doing other things.
Yeah, might not be traveling.
Yeah, exactly. But it also opens up the possibility for schools to be off Thursday, Friday, people to make the trip up. So I'm going to say Philly's going to show out very strongly. I think you guys will still have the slight edge, but maybe a 60-40, 65-35 in that range. I think there's going to be a lot of Sixers fans up there.
Listen, I've been going to Nets games now for, talking about in Brooklyn like the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. I would do anything for a 65-35. Every game I've gone to, it's felt like there's more opposing fans than Nets fans.
Yeah.
I think it's going to switch, though. People are watching.
They are watching. I think I'm probably going to – I feel more strongly that it'll be 60-40. I think you guys will still have the slight advantage, and that's just more because of the Easter holiday weekend. But
I hope the crowd comes out.
I think it's going to be loud in there for Philly. Just saying.
I don't think so.
Just don't get any fights, all right?
I can't promise you that.
Dude, how about the epic collapse last night? I didn't even watch the game because I just was like, man, they're up by 30.
Golden State?
Yep.
Pretty brutal. I don't know how they lose to the Clippers that way. And Boogie Cousins, torn quad, out indefinitely. That's a bummer for Boogie. I mean, you come back from the Achilles, you're on this super team. It's basically automatic championship. You look good on a championship team. You get a huge contract next year. Now he's hurt again with the quad. Just brutal for him. But I'm still not worried about the Warriors. I still, even without Boogie, I think they're okay. Should they be worried at all?
No, I think they're totally fine.
I agree. I'm not buying the Houston thing. I'm really not.
Dude, I think that the playoffs are wide open for second, right? I still think that the Warriors are the clear favorite, but I said this last week. It's Toronto, you got to prove it to me. Look what happens.
Right away, Game 1 loss to the Magic, not making me look good. Come on, Toronto. They'll bounce back tonight.
Thunder getting beat up by the Blazers. Nuggets, who've been strong all year, of course. What happens? Popovich just picks them apart.
How? It's just ridiculous.
But again, I just think that when you get past the Warriors, I think that's why the NBA is so fun right now. There are so many great teams, but if someone can somehow knock off the Warriors, it's going to be totally up in the air.
Yeah.
There would probably be about 8 teams that could potentially win the title.
I think you're right on that one. But I just don't see the Warriors going anywhere. The Clippers are not beating them. They're just not losing. Yeah. It's not happening. Yeah. But that was an epic collapse. 31 points. Wow.
I don't even know how that happens, especially with all those guys. I just don't get it.
It's amazing, and it might be like a little micro thing just of how their season has gone. They've got all the talent in the world. They're beating up on teams. We saw that early on. They looked great, and then they kind of took their foot off the gas pedal, and they looked a little bit more vulnerable. It's a lot of people are looking into this. The Warriors, somebody could knock them off. They want somebody to knock them off. Basically, it's too talented.
Yeah, we said this time and time again over the last, this whole NBA season. To beat them 4 times in a week or 10 days, there's just too much firepower there.
Steve, I gotta talk to you about something.
What's up?
LT Gray.
Dude.
Holy crap. Tiger Woods.
Was it just not the best Sunday that anyone could have ever hoped for?
It was amazing. And I felt like I was living on the West Coast because they started the round early. So it started in the morning.
Early. Yeah.
Amazing. I was done with the Masters by mid-afternoon and Tiger wins.
Yeah.
Tiger's all the way back. That was just incredible. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I said last week I was hoping for it. I think that was more a piece of the fan, just wanting to see that moment.
Yeah.
Francisco, is another guy I thought that was going to play well. Man, talk about...
You called it. He choked, though.
Feeling the Tiger pressure, man.
He choked. That was awful. He was so good, too, in the front 9. He was hitting all his putts.
Yep.
Didn't look like the pressure was getting to him at all, and then he just unraveled.
But I guess David Duvall had said on the night before, on the broadcast. It's the preview. Oh man, every player's in it. Dustin Johnson's in it. Brooks Koepka's in it. Molinari's in it. You name it.
So many guys.
Rory's in it. Or Ricky's in it. Everybody was there. It was great. The leaderboard was incredible.
Amazing.
And Duval said, I know Tiger. I've played Tiger. I've lost the Tiger. He's got the look that will just bore itself into your soul and crush you.
It was awesome because we haven't seen that since David Duval was playing, you know?
Yeah.
None of these young guys who have played against Tiger have really seen that. Like, Tiger's kind of fallen apart on his own. Like, he doesn't just locked in and just dominated and waited for them to make all the mistakes like we finally saw again on Sunday. It was like a time machine. It was amazing.
Yep. He just perfect shots. Even when he's in trouble, he's so crafty and creative with the shot.
Yep.
With his golf shot making ability, that he can just shape the ball and he's crazy. He's throwing darts, 16. He almost hits the hole in one.
That was incredible.
I was I'm working the Boston Marathon. I'm listening to the game in my ear, getting updates here and there, and just kind of like, hey, I didn't, when I take lunch, if Tiger's in the lead after 14, you'll see me in about 30 minutes. So I was able to watch the rest. There was about 300 people at the restaurant bar in Boston, just crowded around TVs, packed in, and everyone just going crazy.
Amazing.
And I think that's
him coming off 18, that was iconic.
Oh, the best.
Like, that is a memory that we'll always remember from Tiger's career and just in sports history. Him walking off that green, coming back from everything, hugging the kids.
Yep.
Just him screaming to the crowd going absolutely apeshit. It was just so cool to watch. I loved it.
It was cool to watch Brooks Koepka come to the realization that he was going to lose the Masters.
Yeah.
So he was on 17th tee when Tiger teed off on 16 and had the near hole in one, and you could just see
he heard it.
The full deflation. The 17th tee was a party. People were moshing. It was insane. And Brooks just kind of shoulder slumped, head went down, just like you're not beating the GOAT today.
Tiger roar is back, baby.
The roar is back, but I think the cool thing about Tiger winning, right? There's plenty of people that hate him. There's plenty of people that are gonna be aghast that he's now going to get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I mean, I think that's. I love Tiger. He's, my book, best golfer of all time, top 3 favorite sports people ever. Getting the Medal of Freedom, maybe he's a little bit much.
Yeah, we're caught up in the moment. We're excited.
A little caught up in the moment.
It's all right. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I think, and golf's been great the last couple of years. But with Spieth, with DJ, with Jason Day, with Brooks, there's a bit of a resurgence. But it could never get to the level that it was with in the early 2000s unless Tiger is back doing what he's doing. So I think golf needs Tiger, and Tiger needs golf, right? I think that's why so many people are loving this return to glory, because you see professional athletes and you see the triumphs on the court or on the field, and you just see these freak athletes who make a ton of money and who are just kind of larger than life, godlike people that are worshipped and they're my hero and this and that. Well, a few years back, you saw that Tiger Woods is human, right?
Yeah.
You saw that he has troubles and trials and tribulations, and his life isn't easy, and the veil was pulled back, if you will. The curtain of Oz was pulled back, and you just saw a guy who has addiction issues, who had marital issues, who just, had 8 surgeries to repair his broken body because, he's not immortal. And I think that people can rally around that and appreciate that because it's more human.
100%.
So I think the story of him coming back, what he brings to golf, where he's been, you couldn't make it up, man. It's like a movie script.
And it's cool. like, we're living in a time right now where we really are watching greatness. Like, Tiger Woods, best we've ever seen, you know? Tom Brady, 41 years old, still winning Super Bowls, like the best quarterback we've ever seen. LeBron, not so much this year, but one of the best basketball players we've ever seen.
Mount Rushmore basketball.
100%. Like, we are watching just legendary players right now just doing incredible things. And the fact that we've already seen Tiger do so many incredible things and we got to see it one more time. And now we're excited about the future, like the way he's playing. Like, now we're talking about 18 majors again, We weren't talking about that a month ago. We were all like, maybe he'll win. Will he ever win one again? Maybe. Like, we're hoping. Now we're like, all right, Jack, like, we're coming for you. We're back on the road here. It's incredible.
Jack, I'm on the highway. I'm on the same stretch of road as you again. You can see me in the rear view.
Yep, it's a conversation again, which is awesome.
Yep. And guess what? Terrific.
What?
We've got Bethpage Black and Pebble Beach, and those are sites that Tiger has conquered before.
He's had some success there.
Could you imagine?
Tiger Slam. Let's go.
Could you imagine? Place would be. I mean, there's probably nothing like being at a Sunday major with Tiger in red on the prowl, just doing his thing. Like, I can't imagine how electric that place was.
I can't either. I would have loved to be there.
I mean, you can hear it, right? But I can't imagine, like, the atmosphere being there would probably, that's something that any sports fan would just hope to experience.
Yeah, goosebumps. You'll remember that forever.
How do you think these guys will respond now that that he's in it? Like, I appreciated that a lot of those guys hung around, congratulated him. Like, clearly they were kind of like, oh, could it be a playoff? But, like, you had Bubba, you had a couple of those guys throw their green jackets on and greet him at the clubhouse. I thought that was a pretty cool moment. But, now these guys have to play him. So what do they do?
I hope they buckle and they get scared. I don't think they're scared of him quite yet. He's got to do a little bit more winning for them to really feel it. But if he's on the leaderboard now, heading into Sunday, like he's there. If he's got a lead heading into Sunday, I think the mindset is different.
Sunday, I don't know if anyone could beat him. Like, he was down 3 shots halfway through that round to Molinari.
Yeah, I think the mindset has completely changed from him finally winning a major, and for him personally, like, that's kind of a mountain that he's climbed over now. Mm-hmm. Like, he's got the win last year. He's got another major. Like, he's probably going to be even a little bit more relaxed, which I think is scary for the rest of golf. I think it's a whole different mindset for him and his opponents. I can't wait. Golf is back.
I can't wait. Golf's back, man.
Speaking of back, Game of Thrones. What's your takeaway? What'd you think?
That was a big time episode, man. I had a flight from Boston, landed around 9:30 West Coast time, got home by 10:30. So, like, me, I was just on the East Coast. It's like 1:30 for me. I was buzzing, dude. I was like, Aaron, let's go.
Yep.
Ready? Let's dive in. We, so we watched Sunday night when I got in. I know that people probably are going, like, I haven't talked to too many people about it. I can see how a lot of people would be like, oh my God, like, nothing happened. That was such a boring episode.
A lot of setup.
I mean, the simple fact that we haven't had Game of Thrones for nearly 2 years, right?
Yep.
We're to the point where we're well past the books. So, I mean, I'm sure I've said to you, people should, hey, if you guys want to know, I read all 5 books, right? So, like, last season, there was still even some things that carried over from the books. Now it's totally into a different world, so no one knows what's going on. So I think you needed that episode to get everybody reacclimated and back into the world of Westeros. Dude, what an episode! I don't want to give any spoilers, but John taking flight was amazing. I think that this.
Tori didn't like that scene. She thought it was a little much.
Yeah, but they have to do that. Like, I mean, to seal the deal, I think that there's going to be drama with the telling of Daenerys as to who Jon really is. I think that she's not just going to bend over and kneel down and take that easily.
She's not bending the knee.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some pushback, but I think that part of me just feels that something related to the dragons is going to kind of, because Daenerys is a skeptical person, right, in the show to new people, and she should be, right? She was skeptical of Jon when he first came down to Dragonstone last season. She's definitely skeptical of Sansa, and Sansa's equally as skeptical of her. Anybody new that has come into her life, she always kind of has the defenses up, which she should, right? She almost was killed as a child. She was taken away to foreign lands, sheltered, hidden her whole life. But she also is, in my opinion, practical in the sense that, like, when she sees something like is legit or comes around to it, like, she accepts it. So I think at some point there's going to be a moment where she accepts what is actually we all know now is true. Who've watched the show. This is going to be some war, bro. It's
incredible. Yeah, my guess, just a complete guess, is she will maybe relinquish some of the power to Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Or not, and she just holds firm. Actually, I think she's going to hold firm, and her and Jon Snow are going to butt heads. And Jon Snow is just going to do the right thing. He's going to sacrifice, and Dany is going to be the rightful heir there, the G on the throne.
The Q on the throne.
She's going to win the Game of Thrones. I got one question for you though from this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever stared down somebody like Bran did with Jaime?
Dude, he gave him daggers, bro.
Big daggers.
But with Bran's new role, right? I think he understands that needed to happen for him to be where he is. So I don't know if it was like necessarily.
That was deep. Wow.
It was an evil eye, but I don't know if the intentions were there. I want to say that they probably just wanted that reaction to be elicited from the crowd. But I think Bran, like I said to this point, he knows all. He understands all. He's pretty unflappable at this point. Now, you saw some emotion out of him being like, we don't have time for this nonsense, like when everyone's making their royal entrance and the greetings and this. So, like, he can get spunky, but I don't know if he's really going to be too concerned about the past on that front.
Can you do me a favor? Can you kill the three-eyed raven and save Bran?
Dude.
I hate the three-eyed raven. Awful.
Yeah, but it's one of those. He's needed, because if he wasn't that, then we wouldn't know a lot of what transpired in the past that has been kept secret too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I know your point. Like the simple fact that he's just like, I'm no longer Jon's brother. It's just kind of like, dude, just be you. Just have your knowledge, right? Like, what do we put as this game that we're playing? But like, it's definitely essential too, if that makes sense.
It is. It's essential to the story.
So episode 2.
Yep.
We've got about an hour.
Yep.
Right, a 58-minute runtime or whatever. Then episode 3, 4, 5, 6. We're talking 80 minutes an episode, dude. Can you believe that? Are you ready?
I can't wait. And I feel like those longer running times means there's some epic battles coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So many things are going to come to a head. It'll be interesting. There's going to be an epic showdown between these dragons. I can't wait for that.
Shout out Theon Greyjoy. What a comeback. Whose comeback was better, Theon's or Tiger's?
Man, that's tough, dude. Theon was in the depths of hell, man. He
Reek.
killing innocent people. He was he was Reek. Ugh. God, you got to give it to Theon. I mean, I'm gonna slightly lean Tiger out of bias, but Theon's pretty good. I'll be intrigued though. What I really want to see is what shakes down between Cersei and the North. Like, I mean, obviously the Night King's big. Like, I just call me the optimist. I just don't see that the book was written. I mean, no spoiler alerts, obviously, because I'm just speculating here, but I don't see him writing that the Night King is just going to dominate everybody and just kill the world, right? Like, I can't get on board with that. Maybe some people can. So I think that there's going to then just be this epic showdown between Cersei and the North, and I'm very intrigued as to see how that's going to play out.
I got some homework that we need to do for next week's pod.
Yeah.
We need to do Game of Thrones characters as NBA players. Like, who in the NBA is the Night King? We need to do that next week.
Yeah. Let me see if I can just rip one off, like, real quick, who the Night King would be. I mean, it would have to be Kawhi, right? He's quiet. He doesn't say a word. He's in the North. He's kind of coming down to try to defeat everybody.
He's in the North. He's got a weird laugh.
You know?
Interesting.
I think Kawhi would take that one for me.
All right.
Who's Tyrion?
TJ McConnell?
Yeah, it might be. That's a great one. That is brilliant.
Let's save this for next week. We'll think about it.
Let me tease one more.
All right.
Who's Sir Loris? This is a lot of implications. I don't know if we might want to think about that one.
Yeah.
We'll tease it.
We'll give you Soloris next week. Definitely look out for that on the pod next week. Steve, good luck to your Sixers, man. I hope you can pull this one out.
Good luck to your Nets. Good luck to your Mets tonight. All right. I hope we don't see another just nightmare of a game out of this. No, it wasn't a nightmare. It was actually a really good game.
It was a good game.
Actually, I flipped over from the Sixers to the finish of that game because I knew we had it in hand. So
I thought of you, by the way, when I saw Familia blowing it. I was like, man, where have I seen this before?
Dude, how bad is that? Sorry to just go off on this tangent real quick. The Mets pitchers in the 8th inning, I think threw 26 balls, and we only had 1 run score. Like, how pathetic is that?
Yeah, I don't know who's more pathetic for, you guys or us.
I mean, just all around for sure, but like when they've thrown 26 balls and it's 4 balls to get on base, like how is it only 1 run? I mean,
Bryce Harper
play by that third baseman. Yeah, I know.
That play
by that third baseman.
Yeah, to turn 2.
Turn 2 because that was a freaking missile down the third baseline.
Yeah. They got lucky. The Mets honestly got lucky with that one. They got the double play there. Jeff McNeil, baby. Just amazing. Glove and hitting. Really good.
Dude, that closer of yours, scary.
Diaz, he's nice.
Dude, that fastball was flying all over the place.
He's really nice.
But staying in the strike zone. Movement was out of control.
Yep. It's like the first time in my life the Mets have ever had a closer where I feel semi-confident that he's not going to blow it. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, I would feel very good if he was closing games for me. While we have no one.
You got Robertson.
Yeah, he's on the DL.
Yeah, fake injury.
Standard.
There you go. All right, dude.
All right, man.
Thank you for coming on. This was fun.
Always.
We're still friends. 1-1.
1-1.
We'll see where this thing goes.
Well, I was going to say, we'll see if we're still friends on Friday.
Yeah, this might be the last ever Terrific Talk podcast with Steve. Everybody, thank you.
Enjoy it, people.
Thank you, people, for listening. Hope you have a good week. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
Trust the process.